What goes on behind those creaky old boathouse doors? Who's invited and who feels comfortable? Who's safe and who thrives? Who stays and why do some leave? And why do rowers do some of the weird things they do? Let's talk about rowing culture. And this time, let's do it from the perspective of the third boat. I'm Jen Butler. This is the Third Boat Podcast. Before we get started, we need to talk about safety and ethics. I'm not sure exactly where some of these stories will end up, as they are still unfolding. Some of the stories I tell because they are triumphant, hilarious, or provide insight into the cult-like world of rowing. But some of the stories are tough. The stories do span a 50-year time period, 4 nations, 9 different crews, and a lot of human beings. We will almost certainly talk about sex, hazing, racial conflict, sexual assault, and attempted suicide. When possible, I will avoid gory details because I just don't want to go there. It's my podcast. If these topics are hurtful to you, please sit this out. This is just a sport after all. And if you are the kind of person who reads content warnings to find out if things get exciting, well, I will throw in organized crime, drugs, and guns. I mean well when I ask the questions I ask, and I realize that talking about culture and loyalty can be complicated and uncomfortable. Rowing is a multi-generation affair for many of us. Sometimes rowing has been part of our careers and our families, mine included. At the same time, if it's part of the story and public knowledge, I'm not going to step around it. There are already some great histories written about rowing. My hope is that these stories and the questions I ask will add to the conversation and maybe even be helpful to someone. There are stories I would like to tell very much. They're not mine, and it is too soon to tell them. Some stories are asking to be told, and it's important that we talk about them. And the other stories, I feel an urgency to at least record them, as we won't all be around forever. And if you're a U.S. college rower from the 90s and worried that I will unleash a personal Me Too revelation, don't worry. When I was in college, boy rowers were way too intimidating for me. I stayed clear. And I only have fond memories of the times we crossed paths. If you have regrets about hooking up with a rower back in the day, it wasn't this one. Thank you for listening. This is the Third Boat Podcast, and I'm Jen Butler.